let's imagine and think about it. Can you convert heat into cold? I mean, it looks so awkward, right? You use a burner in the home and you say, I'll get an ice cream out of it. Can you do that? These boys did it. Let's hear from them with a video.
Hi, we are Team Thermavault. We're based in Indore, a city in central India. The major pain point Thermavault addresses is vaccine carrier technology and transport of medical supplies. Thermavault is an electricity pre-refrigeration unit that helps eliminate plastic waste and reduce energy inequality. It works by using salt-based reactions and multi-layer insulation. What's more, it's sustainable and reusable for multiple cycles. As of now, we're working to perfect the design and reach out to clinics and hospitals. As of right now, we have already approached hospitals and got a positive feedback. We hope to bridge the healthcare gap for 1.2 billion people lacking access to reliable electricity. Thermavault, a fridge to bridge the world.
Are you still wondering how they did it? Anybody who has an answer gets something gift. But anyway, the secret will come out. Mithran, what was the eureka moment? Or were you actually sitting in a bathtub when the idea came?
So our Eureka moment, essentially I'll give a little bit of background on where this came from. We come from a family of doctors, all three of us, and during the COVID lockdown, we heard of vaccine inequality and the inability to reach of vaccines to reach areas without electricity quite a bit. With the COVID pandemic reaching areas without electricity, it was the vaccines that were inefficient or unable to reach those areas, which created a huge issue. As we selfishly sat down, we're all applying to colleges abroad to create basically a science project for a submission to a science challenge. We realized we could mix salt and water together to cool. That cooling solution combined with the problem gave us the ideal set. A problem, vaccine inequality in electricity less regions, and salt water cooling, which was our solution. All that was left from that point on was to present it to the right people who eventually backed us.
Dhruv, in marketing gurus here, they would generally use a word called a stickiness. I don't know where this stupid word came in, but you know, you lost in your first step in one of the first challenges. Didn't win it, you won some second runner or something like that. But you stuck to the idea. Typically, it is said that young kids these days do not have a long attention period, right? They move on quickly. If it doesn't work, I move on to something else. I don't like this movie, I go to another movie. I don't like this, I go to the another one. What made you stick to this?
So, uh, very honestly speaking, we bombed our first challenge. We kind of just went ahead and we had full expectations that this is going to be the star of our college application. We are going to win this, we are going to change the world. And we open our emails. It was, I think, around 2 o'clock at night. We got an email. And as soon as we opened it, we saw, we're really sorry. We just read the words, we're really sorry. We didn't even read the full email till the next day. And so for, I think, a week, our WhatsApp group where we had been discussing our ideas was dead. We didn't have a single message. All of us just wallowing in our sadness. But the lucky part for us was somewhere throughout this journey, as a joke, we had found another competition called the Earth Prize, and we had just applied to it, thinking that, "ठीक है, this doesn't matter. It doesn't take up more than 5 minutes of my time. I'll just apply to it." And after about a week of being rejected and losing the Conrad challenge, we got an email that we've been selected for the next round of the Earth Prize. So that kind of gave us the perspective that when life closes one door, another one will eventually open. And that kind of gave us the motivation that fine, we lost one, we have another. We started working on that. That brought our motivation back. That made us think about more stuff. That made us innovate better. And then we eventually reached this stage.
Brother, you can't be sleeping, okay? You traveled all the way from Indore. Man, it's a early morning flight. But tell me, uh, you know, we had 62 years and now we are 16 years. At 16 years, you think this is an age which actually helped you? Because you don't have these things, oh, this will not work, because you have these pre-notions. These things can never work. I have read it, and people would say this is impossible. Did you have that kind of extra edge that you say, yes, it helped us?
I think it definitely helped because if we had started on the process, as mentioned by Dhruv and Mithran before, we started working on it pretty selfishly for our applications. And one thing that we've found in this process is that three Indian teenagers who will do anything to improve their application are quite literally unstoppable in their pursuit for whatever they want to do. And during that process, not looking at where this might fall short or what the drawbacks of this were kind of helped us because it allowed us to really see the idea for what it is. And slowly, as it was an alternating cycle of us working, then getting the feedback and the criticism we needed to allow us to better it. And it kind of helped mix our enthusiasm and our stubbornness, I would say, which helped us a lot, with the appropriate feedback that we needed. And it turned from a question of what if to slowly a how to, and how to make this better, or how to refine it, how to help it reach the right market, and eventually how to make it in the global space.
Mithran, Dhruv just confessed that he saw the email at 2 a.m. His mother is still wondering what he was doing at 2 a.m. So was he watching Netflix? With this kind of homework, Netflix, WhatsApp, exams, all those kind of tensions in life, uh, what is the thing that kept you disciplined in working towards this direction?
So for context, the best thing about being 16 and 17-year-olds is that you'd more likely find us replying to mails and calls at 2 a.m. than at 6 a.m. We're used to this kind of late night waking up. And speaking of Netflix, we're all huge Star Wars fans. Possibly the amount of boxes in Star Wars all over the place, all in the environment, uh, the kind of futuristic technology, it's not only been something that brought us together, but something that moves us forward. About keeping discipline and keeping work on this, as Dhruv and Mridul mentioned, we faced seriously pretty much every week a challenge that we thought this ends it. We're done here. Let's pack up and go home. What helped was almost treating it like a healthy obsession or a job. We did not allow ourselves to leave this project, and having not allowed ourselves to leave this project for over a year is pretty much exactly what has gotten us to this stage to be able to speak these kinds of things as 16-year-olds.
So let's think of a situation when at 2 a.m. you all three are awake. So there are two possibilities. Either you're playing an online game together, or you're working on the design of the whole system, right? Now that you've done the design, I would assume that you were doing the design part. You're so disciplined and committed. Where do you see as the next line of action? True.
So for the next line of action, I definitely say the primary use case that we are trying to target right now is in the medical industry for vaccines, for viseras, for organ transplants, and for such things. So the very most important thing that's paramount in this case is to actually get certifications for transporting vaccines on an international scale or stuff like that, because we want this to be an end scale user to client based product. In that case, you need certain certifications from the WHO, which is called the PQS certification. So our primary aim right now is to pursue that. We're more or less ready for pilot testing. We don't want to directly introduce this product as a end-to-end to every single customer as a commercially available product right now. We want to go in to maybe around, we're going to be creating 200 units and be using that for pilot testing. We have about 120 hospitals who have been eagerly reaching out to us to be some of the first to test this product. So that's the next step for us right now, pilot testing, getting certifications, and I guess the day we get that certification is when we actually launch it as a commercial product.
And you're looking for domestic only or international?
We're definitely going to be starting as a domestically available product, but ending up to scaling it to an international scale.
You got some good amount of money in that Earth Prize. Is that what you're using for the first lot?
Yes, so our first lot of development, manufacturing, testing is all funded through the grant, the research grant that we won from the Earth Prize, and that's pretty much what we're running through right now.
So typically moderators are in a comfort zone. I am not. Let me tell you why. This is my exam. I studied, researched, and now I'm going to give the answers. And these three professors will have to say, we have not yet explained how it works, right? Salt and water, and you get refrigeration. Too tough to believe. So this is my exam. Let me see if the professors pass me. So the way that it works is you have water, salt, the table salt is not what they're talking about. They're talking about something similar. They tried many salts. Ammonia chloride. Is that right, sir? Okay, he's not given full marks to me, but anyway. So half marks. So ammonia nitrate, ammonia chloride, you put into water, it dissolves, it takes energy from the water. And when you take energy, it cools the temperature. So basically what you're trying to do is, you have a container of copper, you have a kind of moat. You know the castles used to have moat. You have a moat in which nothing except the salt and water can go, and then you have an insulator and the plastic. Sir, am I on the right path?
8.5 out of 10.
अरे यार बहुत कंजूस लोग हैं ये. But okay, what happens after that? You pour water, you put the salt in it, you do a little spin that it sort of starts dissolving. You want faster cooling, you spin it faster, so it's like shaking something severely, and it dissolves fast, it cools the temperature fast, and it remains within that 2 to 6 degrees. Sir, is that correct? 2 to 6 degrees for 12 hours. Now you will say, what happens? The salt is gone. You bring it from the rural area back to your primary health center or dispensary, that is the market, right? And what do you do with it? So you pour the solution out and you heat it, the water evaporates, the salt remains, you reuse it. Sustainability points, 100%. No energy, and that's the answer to heat giving the coolness. Sir, abhi bata diye marks.
अब आपने हमें 100 out of 100 points दे दिया, तो we'll give you a 9.5 out of 10.
Arey yaar. But is that good enough for Olympics gold medal? I don't know. But anyway, this is how it works. So it looks very simple, let me tell you. But from the physics point of view, to this system and getting a WHO certificate is not easy. You know WHO, right? The WHO guys will not let the product get into the market because now you're talking of vaccines. Vaccines is life and death kind of situation, right? You cannot use a vaccine which passes or moves beyond the extreme limits of the temperature. So you have to be very careful. What do you do about measuring the temperature? I'm sorry, I didn't ask that question, sir. How do you measure the temperature that you not cross that temperature?
So for the prototypes, basically we made use of mercury thermometers available in a laboratory. And what we did was, when we deployed it for testing at one of the local hospitals in our city, we checked the temperature at different time intervals. So first of all, post stirring 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. And then we checked at longer durations where we wanted to deploy our product. So say 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours. And once we were convinced that the reaction powering the device is able to hold up and sustain that temperature range for that long, that's when we moved on to refining the design. So,
okay. So sometimes the students are intelligent like me. So I gave a 4th gear and 5th gear removal idea in the previous one. Let me give you a chance. You couldn't put a thermocouple to measure the temperature because you do not believe in electricity here, right? You don't want a battery, you don't want electricity, because this is supposed to be going to rural areas where you don't have those. Thermometers, something can break very easily. So you remember these thermometers which had a color code when you put it on the forehead, it has a variation of the temperature. Can I give that? You can use a color coded kind of sensor so that it remains powerless? Is that a good idea? If yes, then I need royalty.
For this idea, I'll give you a 10 out of 10 purely because of the fact when we tested this, the one of the doctors who we were testing with, this was the same idea that they gave. In a prototype, add a strip to sense the temperature so that without opening the box itself, you can see the usability. So I can't give you royalty because it's already been pitched to us by somebody else, but I'll give you a 10 out of 10.
If I file the patent before he files, I get it. Guys, startups, make sure that you file the patent before anybody files. The first person to file it is the owner of that technology and the IP. This is a mistake which I would say a lot of Indian startups wait for. They say, let me get into the product mode, let me get into the market, that's too late, man. Unlike a lot of Americans and the Israelis, they just keep their mouth shut. They don't even come on the stage and explain anything. They say, I'm first filing the patent and then I'll start talking. So we need to understand and learn that India should be the hub of technology, innovations, and patents as well. And for all that we have done, there's a lot of patents which are filed, but we are not there. If you look at the 1.46 billion capability of Indians, it's huge. And in my opinion, we can file as many patents as any American or the Chinese guys do. Because in my opinion, when God was giving buddhi, he didn't look at the geography of or boundaries. Okay, I am giving more to the Chinese or the Americans. It gives equally, right? So in my opinion, and this is my request, and this is what I think everybody is doing who is rightly looking at a good valuation of the startup is protecting themselves. So you did it well. Did you file a patent or not yet?
So definitely, fundamentally speaking,
You can see he is the next CTO. He is giving an answer.
sure. But yes, fundamentally speaking, you're absolutely right here. In any innovation within this sphere, patents and copyright protection, design trademarks are exactly what you have to pursue once you have the product finalized. And we're actually glad to see that this was something that was brought up not just here, but in previous discussions that we've had, because pointing to the research culture that so after we made this project, right, within our school, we've had a couple of sessions holding with students. There, a lot of them were inspired in the same way to create innovations similar to us. And I'm glad that everyone was aware of this because as a research and as a project, probably the first thing after finalization of the design, which is something we're in the middle of and very soon we'll be rolling into manufacturing, is what they should be pursuing.
Okay, we have 5 minutes, 15 seconds. Q&A time, and I'd like to invite Mr. Shailendra Kaur as well. Is he around? No, he's left. He's probably in the room. That's okay. If you have any questions with these gentlemen of anything related to the tech or the way that they live, the way that they have hobbies, one guy is a guitarist, the other is an audio master, the third actually can read your writing and predict what kind of attributes you have. So these are the other attributes of these gentlemen. Any questions? Okay. The mic please on this side. And the question can be to all of them. You know, these are kind of Harfan Maula like guys. You know, all-rounders. Each of them can answer everything. So please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. My name is Kamlesh Sethi and I work with Moship Technologies. My question to you is, I know you've focused more on, or I will not say focus more, but started with vaccines. What about other, like let's say cold chain solution for milk, dairy products? What's your view on that, and is there a limitation or technology like?
Wait, before you answer, I see a naughty face on you. Are you looking for chilling beer? Okay. Now go through the technical
you
part
got
of it.
Yeah, that's a great question, one that we've been working on quite a bit. Of course, the moment we realized that this was something that could keep under a temperature of 2 to 8 degrees for a good amount of time, the first thing we thought we could put in it was energy drinks. The next was pretty much everything else. Seeing vaccines as the most urgent application of this is why we've moved forward, stating vaccines as our flagship. Regardless, we are looking into working in these directions. Milk, fruits, especially cold storage fruits, even some medical appliances that need to be kept in a low temperature if they can't be transported with electricity. We're looking into all of them and have started a bit of work into those fields. So yeah, great question.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll ask one. You know, there are a good number of people who can give you technology. Somebody can give you gyan, mentoring. Some people have tons of money in their pocket as well. What do you want?
Sorry?
Some people can give you technical support, mentoring, guidance, tons of money. What do you want?
I think right now most of what we need is obviously guidance and experience, in the sense, although we might be stubborn and willing and very passionate to work in the science part of it, maybe the presentation and the business side of this is something we are not very experienced in. And that lack of experience is something that we can only make up by talking to great and experienced businessmen that as are sitting in this hall. That is something we definitely appreciate. Secondly, as we move into our further stages of testing, what we look for is active testing facilities where we can deploy pilot versions of our product and maybe get more data, refine the product, and actually work on making it field usable instead of just lab usable. So yes, those will be the last main two things.
I think apart from that, if anybody is willing, a couple of Lego sets would always be welcome amongst the three of us.
Go.
You
Okay.
can email us, we'll send you our UPIs. We're always ready to receive money. Don't worry.
Guys, deep from their heart, all right? Each statement they said, please remember it. They are your future lifesavers sometimes, because they've said vaccine storage, organ transplant, name whatever in health industry, but sorry, beer will come probably 10 years later.